Hi, my name is Felipe, and I'm here to support Lyft in Chicago and make sure that Senators in Illinois do not pass HB4075. I want to thank you for coming and being a part of this incredible community. We've only been here for 1 year, but the feedback and support has been overwhelmingly positive. It's clear that Chicago loves Lyft. Alright, I want to get a real quick count. Who here is a driver for Lyft? Who's a passenger? Fantastic. You're all equal members of this community. That's the beauty of it. We're all here today because we want to see a more connected Chicago, where everyone has access to friendly, reliable, and affordable transportation choices. Everyone here today has the power to affect change in Chicago. I'd like to introduce you to a few members of this community who have already experienced that power. The first is Corinne Seal. Corinne is an 88-year-old woman who gave up her car a year ago and has come to rely on Lyft as her primary mode of transportation. She learned how to use a smartphone and even started a Facebook account just to get access to Lyft, and now uses the services about 10 times a week. Let's get around to Corinne real quick. Yeah! Alright, thank you.
I told you my secret about my age. I'm sorry that now everybody's going to know, the whole city of Chicago. I love Lyft. I was an avid driver of a clumsy van for 12 years, and my children wanted me to give up driving. They said people my age are not supposed to drive. My son happily told me about Lyft, and I started using it. And I discovered that I could get where I want to go quickly, happily, and without the trauma of sometimes having to wait for a half an hour to get a cab, or have to walk through snow when there are no cabs coming at all. I have used Lyft all through this horrible winter, and it's been very worthwhile. Let me tell you about some of the wonderful people I've met. I met students, kids who are finishing school, who need a little extra money to get through. I've met people who were laid off from their jobs, who are working at Lyft to make it as they can possibly. I've met people who have part-time jobs, who need the extra money so they can pay their rent. But all of them have been nice, clean-cut, pleasant, and a delight to ride with. And I hope to be riding Lyft from now on until eternity. Thank you so much.
Let's give one more round for Corinne, please. Okay, great. Our next speaker is Maurice Shelton. Maurice is a single father and full-time student who's been driving for Lyft for some time now. Maurice, come on up here.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Maurice Shelton. I live on the south side of Chicago. I'm a student, I'm a father, a single father, and I'm a Lyft driver. I want to share my story with you so that you can know how Lyft has affected my life and why it means so much to me, as well as thousands of other users and drivers in the city. When I graduated from high school, I wanted to go straight to college to get my bachelor's degree. But due to unforeseen circumstances, I couldn't do that. I had to go right into the workforce. I worked numerous jobs, from a cake decorator to a bakery clerk, until just recently as a full-time grocery store clerk while supporting my son as a single father. My son, Pierre, I love him to death. I wanted to advance my career so that I can provide him with more opportunities, but until recently I couldn't do so. I had no way to finish my education while supporting him on my own. Then I discovered Lyft. When I learned about Lyft, I decided that I wanted to become a driver to make some extra income. I found out that I was able to drive part-time on a flexible schedule to help support my son while working on my bachelor's degree. Driving with Lyft has not only helped me with my income, but it has also created new opportunities for me to meet new people through networking. For example, one of my Lyft passengers works in the financial services industries, and when I told her that I was working toward opening my own bakery business, she provided me with sound support in getting a loan to start my bakery business. As a single father, I wanted to mentor my son. I wanted to be there for him, to attend the assemblies, the PTA meetings, to pick him up from schools and other extracurricular activities. With Lyft, It is flexible enough to allow me to do so and work toward finishing my college education and starting my business and giving him all the opportunities that I want him to have. That's my story. But it isn't just my story. There are thousands of other people in the city who need a flexible way to lift up their families, who need more affordable transportation options on the south side, and who need to get more connected with their neighbors. What I want you to take away from this is that change is good. We must embrace innovation and stand up for what we believe in. So I want to end by asking you, how has Lyft been impacting your lives? Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Pastor Jay from the Lighthouse Church of Chicago. Let's give him a round of applause real quick.
I come to this rally as a concerned citizen and also a registered voter in the city of Chicago and state of Illinois. I come to this rally as a pastor devoted to social justice. I come to this rally as one who recognizes the tremendous benefit and opportunity found in ride-sharing programs like Lyft. Recently, I was in a conversation with a friend of mine, and he asked me, Pastor Jay, why do you support Lyft? My immediate response was quick and it was simple, because it's a good idea. I think that there are three unique goods that Lyft offers folks in the city of Chicago. The first good is that it offers folks in this city social good. Let me speak here as a proud Chicagoan. Ours is a segmented city of various races and ethnicities and classes, and people are often separated from one another. We function like jangled cords. Lyft offers this city an opportunity to be in perfect harmony with one another, to meet folks that you might not meet otherwise, to hear stories that you might not hear otherwise, and to build relationships that you might not have otherwise. Lyft offers people the opportunity to hear fresh stories, to celebrate new narratives, and to begin different conversations, all while enjoying a ride together. While riding together, folks are able to journey together and discover that we have more in common than we have separate, that we all share a desire to support our families, that we all share a desire to pursue our dreams, and that we all share a desire to offer something meaningful to our world. Conversation, relationship, Lyft is a social good. But not just this, Lyft is also an economic good. Through Lyft, drivers are able to secure a meaningful income for their families. Those who are on a fixed income are able to get additional income. Lyft is a good idea. It makes economic sense. State senators, I urge you to vote down House Bill 4075. I was deeply saddened to read that one of the bill's provisions is to deny people the ability to drive a car if their car is more than 4 years old. This is a rule that will likely disparately impact those who need additional income the most. You shouldn't need a new car to make more income, to be able to put food on the table for your families, and to be able to pay your bills. Economic injustice must never be allowed to defeat economic good, and Lyft is an economic good. Lyft offers economic good not only to drivers but also to riders. I've personally benefited from ride-sharing programs. Sometimes there are parts of this city that I need to get to that public transportation does not allow me to access. I'm a poor young pastor, and so I'm on a fixed income too. And so it's nice to know that I have a ride-sharing program that's cheaper than a cab that covers areas that public transportation might not. It's good not just for drivers but also for riders. And finally, I support Lyft not just because it is an economic good, not just because it's a social good, but finally because it's an environmental good. Less traffic, it offers the potential for lowering greenhouse emissions, and finally it helps us to be good stewards of the earth on which we live. So my message to the state senators, as well as all of those who are gathered here today, is the same message that I offered my friend. Support Lyft because it's a good idea. It's a good idea for senior citizens that are looking for an affordable way to get across this city. It's a good idea for those who want to be good stewards of our earth. It's a good idea for those who are working to secure additional income. It is a good idea for those who do not want a continued segmented population, but actually want not just a city of neighborhoods, but a city of one. And finally, it's a good idea to all of those who are devoted to social justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Jay, for those wise words. Our final speaker today will be Candace Taylor from Lyft.
Thank you to everyone who turned out today because they want to tell their elected officials in Springfield that ride-sharing deserves a fair chance in Chicago. My name is Candace Taylor, and I'm a member of the Lyft team. I've engaged with legislators in Illinois and across cities and states nationwide, trying to find the right fit for ride-sharing. And I'm honored to speak with you today about Lyft and ride-sharing in Chicago. Now, after all the amazing speakers that you've heard today, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, why is a rally even necessary? Why is it that regulators and legislators who are supposed to advocate for the interests of people like Ms. Siegel are putting forth a bill like HB4075? What is the motivation to stop a safe transportation option in Chicago? Well, I hope that I can shed light on some of those questions today and speak specifically about Chicago. First, ride-sharing enabled by Lyft is new, and things that are new are often scary, but not so scary for pioneers like Ms. Siegel and Maurice that you've already heard from. A lot of times regulators want to put novel transportation options into old regulatory structures that don't quite fit. However, in my meetings across the nation, there are also regulators who are very happy to embrace the Lyft community, who understand that if you want ride-sharing to succeed, you can't place it into old regulatory models that didn't even anticipate ride-sharing. They understand that Lyft has a lot of potential, that it can reduce carbon emissions, that it can decrease congestion across our city, that it can actually solve a lot of gaps that undeniably exist in our transportation systems today. Because of that, we want legislators in Springfield to hear that message and to also react to it and embrace what ride-sharing has in its potential in Chicago. But second, a lot of regulators assume that Lyft is just like a traditional taxi and that it's no different. However, all these people wouldn't be here today if that was the case. Lyft drivers are firefighters, they're students, they're teachers, they're your neighbors, they're people who are using their personal cars that they use to ferry their loved ones, their relatives around. They do it in between their jobs, they do it in their free time, and ultimately, HB4075 and the trailer bill that accompanies it would put an end to that ride-sharing, would put an end to the ride-sharing experiment that's happened in Chicago. Why is that? It's because it creates onerous regulatory hurdles. It increases the amount of paperwork without adding any additional safety in Chicago. It creates a mountain of bureaucracy for the people that stand behind me to participate in ride-sharing. And that's a problem because ride-sharing has so much to offer Chicago. So I ask everyone here to stand up for your rights, to call your state legislators, to email your state legislators, and have your voices heard. To date, millions of rides have happened in Chicago. Millions of people have benefited from this. And this is our time to stand up and act, and to show what Lyft means to us, and that we want our state legislators to hear our voices. So thank you for coming, and please stand up this week. A bill is going to be heard, and we need to act now.